Hi, and welcome to Love Doing Yoga on this Monday evening. And hello from beautiful Belgium. So, yes, hopefully you can see some of the backdrop behind me here. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're in a lovely place called Linden, and it's really beautiful. And a special hello to my Belgian friends, Mags, Anka, and Annelies. And I'm looking forward to doing an in-person class with them tomorrow. So, um, yes, hopefully the technology is all going to work. So our theme today, I think, will have to be bliss, because it feels like bliss here. It's absolutely gorgeous. So let's just get that really nice sensation of contentedness within ourselves. As always, throughout your practice, listen to your body and only do what feels right for you today. So let us begin our practice lying down. Making yourself nice and comfortable on your mat. Softening any points of tension. And just becoming aware of yourself on your mat. Letting go of your day and everything that's going on in your world. Letting go of all your responsibilities, your roles, your labels. Just bringing yourself to your mat to spend this time connecting your body with your mind through your breath. And as you lie here, try to remember a time where you felt fully contented. Conjure that moment up in your mind. Notice your surroundings, who you were with, the circumstances. Notice how you felt in your body and your mind at that moment. And let those feelings now seep into you as you lie here on your mat. That feeling of content filling every fiber of your body. Having that picture in your mind, that feeling in your body. Take a breath and just absorb that feeling of contentedness. Imprinting that picture, that feeling into your body with your next breath. And with every time we take a break and take a breath during our practice, we're going to recall this feeling, this image into our bodies again. So take 3 more breaths here, surrounded and enveloped by this feeling of contentedness. And then when you're ready, bending your knees, rolling over onto your side. Make your way up to sit on your mat. And sitting up nice and tall, equal weight on both seat bones, lengthening through the spine. Closing the eyes, just bow the head down, allow the back of the neck to stretch. We'll take a breath down here. And then raise the gaze upwards, raise the whole head and face to gaze at the ceiling, allowing the front of the neck to stretch, taking a breath. Coming back to the center, turn your head as far to the left as it can go, keeping that chin parallel to your mat, to the ground, feeling that stretch on the side of the neck, the top of the shoulders. And then slowly drawing the head all the way around to the right. And coming back to the center, once again, letting that head drop down towards the left. And then raising it back to the center and let it drop to the right. And coming back to the center once again, drawing those shoulders now up to the ears, pushing them back and dropping them down. And again, up and back and down. And one more time, up and back and down. And drawing the arms out to the sides, let's just rotate them in opposite directions. Nice and slowly, letting that whole arm rotate all the way up to the shoulders. And coming to stillness, let the right arm come behind your back to point up towards your shoulder blade, left arm behind your head. And then bringing the arms out to the sides again, take that in the opposite direction. And out to the side, right hand towards the left shoulder again. And out and change. And out and change. And then coming back to the center from here, drawing the right arm up past your ear. Let's take a little bend towards the left, feeling that whole right side of the body stretch and open. Taking one more breath here. And then taking that over to the other side. Feeling the left side really open out here, chest and gaze looking upwards. And coming back to the center, let's take a twist to the left. Sitting up nice and tall, allowing the whole spine to rotate as you twist. And then let's take that back to the right. Nice and deep as you twist. And coming back to the center, bringing the hands into prayer here at the chest. Close your eyes and take a breath, filling that body with contentment. One more breath. And from here, let's make our way onto our mat to tabletop. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, feet straight out behind you in your tabletop position. Pressing away from the mat, opening the fingers out so you're almost clawing into the mat with your fingertips. Nice and active here. And let's do a couple of cat-cows. So inhaling through to your cow. And then exhaling into your cat. Rolling through from one to the other, synchronizing with your breath. And then start to just freestyle here a little bit. So you might want to circle the hips. You might want to look from side to side to get the stretches in, or move your shoulders or your head. Just close your eyes and spend a few minutes feeling very connected to your body as you just move through the way the body suggests. There is no right or wrong. Just listen to your body and go with it. And then when you're ready, coming to stillness here, let's curl those toes, push the heels back and make our way up to a downward dog. Lifting the knees up, pushing back through the hips to lengthen through the spine as you make your way up into your downward dog. Stretching those legs as you pedal through. Just letting the muscles begin to awaken and stretch, taking your time until you're ready to come to stillness. And let's take 3 breaths here. And as you exhale, just see, can you deepen into your downward dog a little further? And when you're ready, walking your feet up to meet your hands, bend your knees, coming all the way up to stand. And as you stand here, standing with your feet hip width apart, equal weight on both feet, standing up tall, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Bringing the hands into prayer at the chest, close the eyes. Gather up that contentment in your mind and take a breath. And then from here, let's draw the arms up over the head, palms together. And we're going to start to engage each part of our body. So as you're standing here with your feet on the mat, think about pulling your calves together. You're not actually pulling your calves together, just get that feeling of you're pulling your calves together. And then think about pulling your thighs away from each other. So you'll feel the tension start to build in your legs as your muscles engage, as you think about those kind of alternate pulls. And then moving up the body, draw up the pelvic floor. Raise up the glutes, tighten them. Begin to engage the core. Raising up the arms. Squeezing those palms together, feeling tension all the way through the body. Raise the gaze. Holding that tension. And then release the arms down, release the tension, let it soften. Good, let's try that again. And work with yourself. You might find it, with your legs, you might find it easier to pull the lower legs apart and the upper legs together, or the other way around. Whichever way you feel just brings that engagement in. So start to waken up the legs with that magnetic pull that's just getting them to draw towards each other and your thighs to draw apart. Raising up the pelvic floor, tightening the glutes, engaging the core. Raising the arms up, pressing those palms together. Raising the gaze, feeling that tension throughout the body with those muscles all engaged. And then soften them out. Good, let's try it one more time. This time you doing it yourself. Try to work your way up your body all the way up to your fingertips with everything engaged. And then holding that engagement. And releasing it all. Good, really good exercise like you do with your core, where you just engage, release, and think about what that does. Squeeze, soften, squeeze, soften. It just gently begins to build up that muscle. So back into this again, bringing that tension, that engagement to the whole body. And now we're going to let the arms sweep out to the side as we hinge at the hips and come into a forward fold. So just see where your body takes you. Soften your knees, see where you land as you fold forward. Bring your hands onto your hips, onto that where the hinge is on your hips, and just notice what that angle is. Are your fingers beginning to squeeze? Rising up again. Bring your hands onto your legs, just where that hinge happens, so the tops of your legs, and notice how that hinge, so hopefully you can feel your hips as well. Notice as you hinge what happens as your body begins to fold over your thumbs, feeling that bend, and notice where that bend goes. Okay, that's enough, and that's fine. That's what your body is saying to you today. Bend your knees and see, just bend them as much as you need to so that your lower rib cage comes in contact with your thighs.
So again, it doesn't matter. There's no being good or being bad at yoga. Yoga is just about working with your body. So if that means your knees are almost at a 90-degree angle, that's fine. That's what your body's telling you. So connecting the lower rib cage with the thighs. And then we're going to try and keep that connection as we start to just push ourselves a little bit in this forward fold. Just opening those legs out just a little bit more. Let the breath help you. So ease it as you inhale, bending the knees a little, and then exhale, opening the legs out, deepening the bend. And again, inhale, soften. And as you exhale, deepen the bend. One more time. And then just notice if you've got yourself a little bit deeper. And from here, bend the knees generously, coming all the way up to stand, raising those arms up over the head, palms together. Let's engage that body all the way. And then soften the body as you fold forward into your nice deep forward fold, connecting with your breath. And let's breathe into a nice deep fold. One more breath here. And bend the knees, coming all the way up again, raising those arms up over the head, palms together, pressing them together, engaging the whole body, taking a breath. Sweeping down, softening the body as you sweep into a forward fold. And then we're going to lift to halfway. So draw the body up so we're in a nice right angle here. And then check in with your spine. So we want the spine to be nice and long and straight. So bring your hands onto your hips and let your elbows look at each other. And that might just help to open the chest a little bit and keep that spine nice and long and the back of the body nice and straight. Engage the core here. So as you're in this position, draw up the pelvic floor, belly button in and up. Check in with your knees. Sometimes when we go into this lengthened spine, we tend to, especially if you're hypermobile, lock the knees. So we still want to keep a softness in the knees. So it's your muscles that are working. One more breath. Engaging that core on the exhale. And then coming back into your forward fold. Bending your knees, coming all the way up, drawing those arms up, bringing in that engagement from the lower legs up through the thighs, raising the pelvic floor, tightening the glutes, engaging the core, pressing those arms together. Raise the gaze, take a breath. Then soften the body as you sweep down into a forward fold, letting the breath help you get nice and deep with the exhale. And then drawing up to your halfway lift, bringing the hands onto the hips, elbows looking at each other, chest nice and open, soften the knees, engage the core. Gaze on the mat so the spine is completely flat. One more breath. And then forward fold again, coming in nice and deep. One more time through that flow, bending the knees. Let's flow a little faster. Bringing the arms up, engaging the whole body. Through to your forward fold. Into your halfway lift with your hands on your hips. And nice and deep to forward fold. Good. From here, you know what's coming next. Bring the hands down, bend the knees if you need to. Let's step that right leg back. Bring the knee down, open out the foot. Check in here with your front leg as you rise up. Knee directly over ankle. Activate that foot. Make the body work in this pose. Check in with the hips, so they should be nice and square. Your legs are hip width apart, or they can be a little further apart. Nice and stable in this stance. Then thinking about this right knee. So how far back is it? Is there an angle as you look down? Is the knee moving away from you, or is it directly underneath you? So we want to stretch the quad and the extend the hip, the right hip, in this pose. So let's step that knee back as far back as is comfortable for you. Just challenging yourself a little bit as you do. Keeping this knee over the ankle, so I could feel that knee just begin to draw back a little bit, this ankle just begin to open out. We want to keep that knee directly over the ankle, nice and stable, squaring up the hips. And then from here, we raise the arms up, making sure they run past the ears. Taking a breath. And engaging the core on the exhale. Check in with your shoulders. They should be soft. Now you might choose to raise the gaze here so you get a little back bend. Personally, I prefer to look forward, but if you like to raise the gaze and bring a back bend in here, do. And then let's bring those hands down either side of the foot. We're going to step back up into a forward fold. So stepping that right leg up, forward fold. Bending the knees, coming all the way up. Hand palms together, raise the gaze, engage the body. Sweeping down, forward fold, deepening as you exhale. Rising up to your halfway lift, lengthening the spine, hands on hips, elbows looking at each other. Engage the core. Soft knees and back down into your forward fold. And hands on the mat, stepping that right leg back. Now pushing it, let that leg extend back as far as it can go with the toes, then drop the knee, open out the foot, rising up, keeping that left knee over the left ankle. Arms past the ears, soften the shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Engaging that core. Good. Let's take it through to our plank, bringing those hands out either side of the foot. Let's activate those hands. So again, just like in your tabletop, we want the fingers open nice and wide, almost clawing into the mat, nice and active here. And then we're going to curl that right toe, lifting the knee as we step that left leg back. So as you do this, you'll see that your shoulders come back behind your wrists and your hips are raised. So we want to bring it into our plank. So we want to just draw those shoulders over the wrists. Let the hips come down so we've got a nice straight line. Engaging the core. Keeping those hands nice and active. So you're pressing away from your mat, even though your elbows have a softness in them. And then from here, just come down onto your knees, push back into a child's pose. Take a little break here. And let that focus go to your breath. Draw in that contented feeling. And let it fill your body. One more breath here. And once again, let's come up. If at any point you're doing yoga and you're feeling a little bit injured, or you're just not quite up to doing a plank on that day, you can always do a half plank. So in a half plank, you have your knees and your feet on the mat, but you still have your shoulders over your wrists and engaging your core. It's just a little bit softer for the body. So it's a great alternative if you're just struggling with the plank, or if you're recovering from an injury or just not quite feeling up to it. But from here, we're going to come into a plank again. So curling those toes, lifting the knees up, coming into your plank. Let's take 3 breaths here, pressing away from the mat. Gaze on the mat so the spine is long. And again, bring the knees down, pushing back. Forehead on the mat. Soften the body. Allow the breath to bring that feeling of contentedness. And once again, coming back into your plank. So shoulders over those wrists, curling the toes, raising the knees. And then from here, we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So knees come down, opening out the feet, keeping those elbows in. Let the hips draw up as the chest comes down. And then let the belly come down. So you're almost like a snake, making your way down. Forehead on the mat. And when you land, your hands should be either side of your chest, elbows in against your side. That's one way of coming down. The other way of coming down, of course, is to come straight down. So let's once again draw ourselves up into our plank. Take a breath here. Either come down on your knees, feet, chest, or let the shoulders come a little ahead of the wrists and lower yourself down onto your mat. Forehead down. So either way, you end up in the same position. Forehead on the mat, hands either side of the chest, elbows in at your side. Let's try that again. So drawing up into a plank, taking a breath here. And then drawing those shoulders forward as you lower yourself down onto your mat. Forehead onto the mat. Good. Taking a breath. And now into our back bend. So nice and light with your hands. Just think about lifting up your forehead, then drawing up your chest. Feeling the whole core engage
As you lift everything up, hands are very light. They're just there, not doing anything. And then lower down again. Elbows looking at each other. So that make sure that your shoulders are back and down and steady. If you have your elbows out, it just opens it all out and it compromises your shoulders. So we want to keep those shoulders back. And then just draw up. And as you're up here, keeping the gaze on the mat, we're going to just, with an exhale, draw up a little further. Still very light with the hands. All of the work has been done by the muscles on your back. One more breath here. And drawing down. So let the breath help you with each movement. If you soften on your inhale and then just give that little bit of extra work on the exhale, the breath can work with the muscles in the body to just enhance them and help them work a little bit harder. So one more time, forehead on the mat, hands either side of the chest, elbows looking at each other. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, just deepen that bend. Inhale, lengthen the body a little. Exhale, rise up a little bit further. One more time. Inhale, lengthen the body. Exhale, drawing it up. Good. And from here, start to activate the hands, bringing them to life as you push up into a full cobra. So we don't want to lock the elbows, keep them soft. It's a nice deep bend. We're not going to hang around here too much. We're going to move ourselves up into our downward dog. Into our tabletop before our downward dog. So as you move up here, you will probably notice that your arms are too far in front and your legs are not quite, your hips aren't quite over your knees because you've been lying down flat. So I like to adjust by drawing my hips back so they're over my knees and then bring the hands back into a more reasonable position for downward dog. Again, work with your body and what feels right. But it is good to start with those hips directly over the knees for downward dog because we're going to curl the toes here, make our way up, lifting the knees, push the hips back, and work your way into it. So you might want to stretch those legs again a little bit to get yourself ready. So now you're in your downward dog. Just take a breath here. And now lower the knees back down onto the mat. And they should come straight back down underneath your hips. That means you are in a good downward dog position from your legs. If they come back down into that straight line. So let's try it again. Pushing the hips back, raising the knees, working your way up. Push into that nice long spine. Taking a breath. And then again, coming back down onto your knees and seeing, are you back in that nice hips over knees position? Okay, let's do a little bit more work in downward dog. So pushing those heels back, lifting up the knees. And remember, as you lift up the knees, actually, this moment here is a great moment of activation for your core as your knees are hovering. Then push those hips back. And think about now pressing away from the kind of are they called the heels of your hands? The heels of your hands. Pressing away from the mat. So your arms become long. Now zone in on your shoulders because you want to just draw those shoulder blades down away from your ears. So you're almost broadening your shoulders here. Gaze towards the belly button. Lengthening through that spine, pushing back. All the time pressing away from the mat. Ears should be running alongside your arms.
Don't worry about your legs. They can be doing whatever they're doing. You might want them long. You might want to press in with your heels a little bit more to add to the stretch, or even raise your toes off the mat to really intensify the stretch. Or you might want to have your knees bent and your heels up. So again, it's about you working with your body and what's right for you. Let's take 3 nice long breaths here. Then we're going to raise that right leg up. Now, I find here if I stretch my right leg out, then it's easier to bring it through and come into our low lunge. But we're going to just spend a little bit of time working on that, getting that that leg from up here up to the front. So let's come back into our downward dog. Raise the right leg up, stretch it out, and then step it through. So if your leg comes to about halfway, say here, you can just pick it up and lift it, as I'm sure you do. But also another way to help you with this is, as you raise the leg up, instead of drawing the leg straight through, swing it around and see if that helps you get it a little bit higher up to the mat. So you might have a better view if I do it on the other side. If you raise that left leg up, swinging it out to the side a little bit faster so you gather momentum, and that might just help you get it further up the mat. And then as time goes on, you can bring it in a little bit closer. So back to our downward dog. Take a breath. And let's stretch that right leg up and step it through, coming into our low lunge again. So remember here, we want to recreate what we had on the other side. So we want that length in the extended leg, in the left leg, the right knee over that right ankle, coming up, raising the arms up and taking a breath. And one more breath. Bringing the hands down, we're going to come back into our downward dog and try that swing around again. Taking a breath in downward dog. Stretching that right leg out behind you. Stepping it through to the front. Checking in, knee over ankle. Dropping that left knee down. If you feel that's not quite as challenging as it could be, you might want to step the knee back a little further. Rising up, arms up, take a breath. One more breath here. And then bringing those hands down either side of the foot. We're going to step that left leg up beside the right. So as you do this, as you step forward, just check in with the feet that they're in a nice straight line, that they're both pointing in the same direction. Into a nice deep forward fold. Bending the knees, coming all the way up. And let's bring those hands down into prayer at the chest, taking a breath. Filling that body and mind with that content. One more breath here.
Let's take it through on the other side now, bringing together all of those bits that we've been working on with our sun salute. Let's bring it all together on the other side. So engaging the body from the feet, lower legs, knees, thighs, pelvic floor, glutes, upper body, palms pressed together. Softening the body, flowing through to forward fold. Using the breath to help you deepen into the fold. Then drawing up to your halfway lift. Bring the hands onto the hips for now. Elbows looking at each other, lengthening through the spine, engaging the core. And again, deepening into a forward fold. Let the breath help you. Bringing the hands down onto the mat. We're stepping that left leg back as far back as it can go, being aware of our right knee over our right ankle, dropping that left knee down. Open the foot, drawing up, hips are square. Raise the arms, raise the pelvic floor, engage the core. Take a breath. And bringing those hands down, either side of the foot. Engage the hands, open out the fingers, clawing into the mat with your fingertips. Stepping back into your plank. Shoulders over those wrists, softness in the elbows. 3 breaths here. And then coming down, whichever way you want. Knees, feet, elbows in, chest and belly, or lower straight down. Forehead on your mat. And then let's draw up into our little back bend, nice and soft with the hands. As you exhale, deepen into that bend. The core engaging, and the back of the core now having to work. And then start to activate the hands as you push up to your full cobra, hips coming away from the mat. And then push through. So adjusting, letting those hips come over the knees, adjust the hands as you need to, and make your way up into your downward dog. Pressing away from the mat with your hands, lengthening through the spine. Gaze towards the belly button. Shoulders away from the ears. One more breath here. Let's raise that left leg up, stretching it out behind you. Step it through, either swinging it around or bringing it through the middle. Again, getting this knee, so setting yourself up for success. Knee over ankle, dropping down that right knee, open out the foot. Rising up, arms past the ears, soften the shoulders, engage the core. And then bringing those hands down either side of the foot. Let's step the right foot up. Check in with those feet. Are they in a nice straight line? Uniform, looking forward, both pointing in the same direction. Deepen into your forward fold. Bend the knees. Coming all the way up, draw the arms up over the head, palms together. Bring it down into prayer at the chest. Close the eyes. Draw in that feeling of content and take a breath. One more breath here. And then let the arms come down by your sides. Soften the body. Bow the head. Round the shoulders. Round the spine. Start to roll your way down. Slowly rolling down. Soften the knees. Let gravity just bring you down. When your hands connect with the mat, hold on to either side of your elbow and gently sway back and forth. And then letting those hands come on down onto the mat, making your way down via tabletop to come and lie on your mat, knees bent, feet about hip width or wider apart. Again, pointing towards the front. So you've got to really kind of focus on your feet here because it's hard to tell what way your feet are pointed when you're not looking at them. And then activating the feet, let's rise up into a plank, drawing those hips up, shoulder blades underneath you. One more breath here. And slowly lowering yourself down onto your mat. Hug those knees into the chest and take a little bit of a sway here from side to side. And then when you're ready, coming to stillness, let those legs come out long. Feet flop out to the side. Arms down by your sides with your palms facing upwards. And thank you for joining me here in beautiful Belgium. I hope you enjoyed that kind of anatomy of a sun salute and maybe learnt one or two new nuggets from it. And also that you were able to bring that feeling of contentedness to yourself throughout the practice. And now it's time to relax, release, and let go. Letting go of the toes and the soles of the feet. Letting go of the tops of your feet, your heels and ankles. Letting go your calves and your shins. Your knees, front and back. Letting go your thighs, front and back. The whole of your legs, just letting them go. Letting go your glutes, your pelvis, the whole back of your body and shoulder blades. The front of your body, chest and shoulders. Letting go your armpits, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, backs of your hands, palms of your hands and your fingers. Letting go the back of your head, the crown of your head, your forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, jaw, chin, lips and tongue. The whole of your body, just let it go.
whole of your body, let it go. And let your heart fill with gratitude here. Gratitude for your ability to bring yourself to a moment and a feeling of content. And with that content and gratitude in your heart, let your attention go to your breath. Inhaling that feeling of content into your body. And as you exhale, letting that feeling spread throughout your whole body. Each breath just intensifying that feeling of bliss and content. And spend a few minutes here connected with your breath.